Yeah. 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 Blessed love and blessed day, old boxing world, boxing nation, fighting world, fighting nation. It's Coach Fighting. This is real life boxing. We just getting the stream up. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I don't got no decorations on the screen for y'all right now. But Michelle Rivera and Frank Martin just got finished fighting. Dominating performance by Frank the Ghost Martin. Solid performance by Frank Martin. Not so good of a performance by Michelle Rivera. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, Michelle Rivera taught y'all exactly how to not fight against a southpaw. Don't fight against a southpaw like that. Hey, before we get into this video, best double jab straight down the pipe. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified when all new content is being uploaded on the channel Real Life Boxing. Put the left hook behind it and share the video, please and thank you. Yeah, Michelle Rivera taught us exactly how to not fight against a southpaw. So for all you upcoming young fighters out there, and shout out to Michelle Rivera too, because you know what I mean, he didn't quit. I guess he did as best as he can do, you know what I'm saying, given with what he's been taught up until now. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't the way you fight a southpaw. You know what I mean? And you know, when you look at fights like this, when fighters are you know, making mistakes or not doing things the way that they should be doing, at some point during the fight, you're looking for some adjustments to be made. You know what I'm saying? These are what makes great fighters great. You know what I mean? Making real-time adjustments, making in-time adjustments. Floyd Mayweather, great at making adjustments. The New England Patriots, when they were on their great Super Bowl run, Bill Belichick, a monster at making adjustments. You know what I'm saying? Those halftime adjustments. So, you know, when you're fighting at that level and you're watching a young fighter come up, I feel like one of the things that you look out for is, you know, to see how well the fighter can make adjustments along with team. You know what I mean? And Michelle Rivera, you know, no adjustments at all. Continuously stepping to his, continuously stepping to his right instead of to his left. Anthony Balash, salute. What's up, bro, man? I was wrong on this one. I thought Rivera would pull through. Hey, I did too, to be honest. I didn't do a fight prediction on this fight, but I felt like Rivera was going to get the upset. And he did it. You know what I mean? So, but again, this is exactly how you do not fight against a southpaw. Continuously step into his right. And it's not to say when you're fighting a southpaw that you can't step to your right, but if you're going to be stepping to your right, then you need to be able to avoid the left hand that's coming down the pipe. You know what I'm saying? The issue for Michelle Rivera is that he had the slower feet, he had the slower hands. He's just a slower fighter in general, and not to say that he's slow by any means, but Frank Martin is just very fast. You know what I'm saying? With his feet, with his hands. So now, if you're going to be stepping in the wrong direction against a fighter who just naturally has quicker feet than you, then it's not going to really serve you well. You know what I'm saying? If you can't get out the way, if you cannot slip right, the left hand that's coming down the pipe when you're stepping to your right, then it's a problem. Because obviously, southpaw orthodox, the the science is that you keep your foot on the outside, right? But when you have good fighters that are good at moving laterally to that way, like Frank Martin, and I spoke about Tank Davis when I talk about him and Ryan Garcia. Tank Davis is very skilled at moving out to his right as a southpaw. So you see the difference. Michel Rivera, as an orthodox fighter, was very unskilled at moving out to his left. You know what I'm saying? But you know, when you're fighting a fighter like that has good footwork and is very aware of the footing, you know what I mean? And if it's a problem for you to get your foot on the outside, well, if you're going to have your foot on the inside and you're going to be stepping to your right, then you need to be way over on your right. You know what I'm saying? You need to be way over on your right, like on the other side. Just like Derek James, he told Frank Martin going down later in the fight, you're doing good turning him. Now, you don't have to keep going to your right. Sometimes you can switch it up and go to your left. You know what I'm saying? But either way, keep turning him. The words of Derek James. Yeah, man, I usually very accurate when it comes to the predictions. But yeah, this I had a feeling through my intuition he would win it well and went with it. He didn't really and the thing, you know, like I said, Frank Martin did his thing. It's kind of hard for me to say how he would do against the top fighters in the division because I don't think that Michel Rivera fought as good. I don't think that Michel Rivera fought as good as he could fight. You know what I mean? He did some things from distance. And I was listening to Boxing Wave. Shout out to Boxing Wave, his fight prediction for this fight. And the only reason why he gave it to Frank Martin is because he says Michel Rivera gives up his length too much. He's not really an outside fighter. He likes to get it on in the inside, and that will be his downfall. And, you know, absolutely. He was able to hit Frank Martin with the straight right hand when he threw it from distance a few times. He was able to back up Frank Martin with the right hand from distance when he threw it, but he just didn't throw it enough. He wasn't busy enough. Frank Martin was the overall busier fighter. Michel Rivera, he didn't get I mean, I wouldn't say he got terribly beat up. It's like he just didn't do enough, you know what I'm saying, while Frank Martin was doing it, you know what I'm saying? You know, couldn't finish him. Frank Martin was hitting him with some good shots, not really big shots, you know what I'm saying? Couldn't finish him. And Michel Rivera just looked you know, he just looked overwhelmed. You know what I'm saying? Looks like the hand speed bothered him. Looked like the foot speed bothered him. The game plan wasn't the game plan wasn't on point. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that's Michel Rivera. He's from the Dominican Republic. He has the Hispanic trainers. His trainer is another guy too. He trains some other fighters too. But it's kind of hard to understand like what they're saying in the corner as far as directions. But I don't think he ever told Michel Rivera to move to his left and try to get that right hand down the pipe with his head off the line to the left. So it's just hard to know like what was going on over there, what was the game plan. So it's hard for me to compare Frank Martin to like the top tier of the lightweight division. But I will say he's a very good prospect. He looks very good. Good hand speed, good foot speed, good footwork, creates good angles. But he was able to get touch with that right hand from Michel Rivera from distance. You know what I'm saying? And then when you start talking about the upper echelon of the lightweight division with you know, Shakur Stevenson, who's rangy, and he just got up there. Devin Haney, who's undisputed, and he's rangy. What's his name? Ryan Garcia, who he's just all over the place, but he's rangy too. But they say he's up at 140 now. The ferocious Cambocious. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard for me to say right now how he will perform against them. I like to see him take his time and get a few more, you know, fights like this under his belt and get some more experience before you start throwing him up there with the big boys. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, Michel Rivera was able to touch him from distance with that long right hand. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would like to see Frank Martin take a couple more fights like this before we start talking about you know, world championships and shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't rush the fighters too fast. We don't want the fighters to be 30 when they start fighting, you know what I'm saying, the toughest fights, but we don't want them to be, you know what I mean? We don't want to rush them too fast. Look what's going on with Teofimo Lopez right now, and he's getting the heat from it. You know what I'm saying? Simply because experience goes a long way, man. You know what I'm saying? Can't be mad at Teo, you know, not so good of a performance against Sandor Martin, but when you look at their professional records, Sandor Martin got damn near, man, 30 more fights than that, man. You know what I'm saying? So it counts for something. You know what I mean? So, but pretty good fight. Pretty good performance by Frank Martin. like I said, I feel like Michel Rivera, could have done more. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what his team was telling him over there, but I know for one thing, he never stepped to his fucking left. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, if you're going to be circling to your right against a southpaw whose feet are faster than yours and whose hands are faster than yours, then you got to be first also. You know what I'm saying? You got to be first. You got to have the correct angle to drop the right hand, because another thing that he was doing religiously is every time he threw his right hand, because his foot was on the inside and Frank Martin was moving so aggressively to his right, every time Michel Rivera threw his right hand, he literally had to pivot inside. He literally had to pivot to his right while throwing his right hand. And almost every single time that happened, Frank Martin was able to counter him with his own left hand. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to create the angle so far that when you throw your right hand, they can't even counter with the left hand because the angle is just way off. And that's pretty much what Frank Martin was doing to Michel Rivera. He got his foot on the outside. Michel Rivera's foot is on the inside. Frank Martin is still circling to his left while he's throwing his punches. And when Michel Rivera is trying to shoot his punch, he literally has to pivot his foot, his right foot. He has to swing it all the way around while he's throwing the punch. And that, you know what I mean? That's going to leave you squared up. That's just a recipe for disaster every single time. You know what I mean? You don't want to be swinging your back foot against another orthodox fighter, but you definitely don't want to do it against a southpaw, because when you do it against a southpaw, you end up standing square in front of them with both feet and both shoulders pointed at them and just in a very vulnerable position. And that's actually how he got dropped, because he did get dropped in this fight, Michel Rivera. And that's exactly how he got dropped in this fight. Overshooting his shot, pivoting to the inside and getting caught with a counter left hand right hook, and he only got hit with the left hand and it dropped him. You know what I'm saying? So that's exactly how he got dropped in this fight. Exactly what I'm saying. But I definitely like to see a little bit more out of Frank Martin, like I said before we start talking about world title and everything. But you know what I mean? You guys tell me what y'all think about it in the comment section, man. Until then, keep fighting your fight and protect yourself at all times. Peace and one love. It's Coach Fire. This is Real Life Boxing. Thank you, everybody, for joining the stream. We're going to be doing a lot more live streams, so stay tuned. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Keep fighting your fight and protect yourself at all times. Peace and one love. It's Coach Fire. This is Real Life Boxing.